all the sequels, requels, prequels, interquels, midquels that have come out of Hollywood this year, there is one that still remains on the horizon that I'm actually looking forward to, and that is Joker 2, with all of the caveats. Yeah, Lady Gaga is cringe, but she's a great actress, okay? It's gonna be a musical, but it kind of makes sense in the context of the original, with Arthur Fleck's relationship with music and how that made him more of a free individual. And then, of course, you also have Todd Phillips coming back and directing this, and him and Joaquin so intrinsic to the success of the original project. So there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of caveats, but there's also a pair of excellent trailers that are out there that really do, make me incredibly excited about the success of this film. And now that we're starting to hear some interviews from Todd Phillips himself as to the insight behind his decision for sequel to a film that a lot of people say doesn't really need a sequel, and I don't know, man, it's getting me a little bit more excited, to be completely honest, okay? Shortly before shooting wrapped on the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix confessed that Todd Phillips, the filmmaker, who had reimagined Batman's greatest enemy as an aspiring stand-up with the Travis Bickle complex, that he wasn't ready to leave the character behind. When he fell asleep one night, Joaquin Phoenix had a vision of Arthur Fleck, the man behind Joker's clown makeup, performing on stage, telling jokes and singing. Todd was in the wings, talking to me through a headset, Phoenix remembers. I woke up feeling elated and called him, hoping he'd want to do a show with me. Even before the Joker went on to earn more than $1 billion in 2019, the pair were already thinking about a follow-up. They discussed the prospect of taking their act to Broadway, at least until reality set in. When we started really thinking about it and realized it takes 4 years to put something like that together, we decided, let's just make it 5 and turn it into a film. Okay, and is Joaquin really going to give 6 months of his life to do that on stage every night, Phillips says. And we thought about doing it at the Carlisle as something smaller, but then the coof hit. Still, Phoenix's initial concept that Arthur, who moved so uncomfortably through the world, could finally find a way to express himself with music, lingered as Phillips and his co-writer Scott Silver began plotting a return to Gotham City. 5 years on, and one pandemic later, the results of Phoenix's nocturnal brainstorm, Joker Folie, Deux, is about to debut at the Venice Film Festival. Oh, really? With Phillips is feeling jittery about how the unconventional encore will be received. After all, instead of battling Batman, this Joker sings and dances with Lady Gaga. And yeah, we've heard a couple of things, and this is a very, very, very long interview that I'm not going to go through point by point, but we've been hearing a little bit from Todd Phillips and him saying that, yeah, Arthur Fleck, he's never going to line up with the traditional Joker. Like, his entire premise behind making the original back in 2019 was to find a way to tell a story and then just shoehorned it into a superhero film because that's what's selling at the time. And you know what? That's what he did, bro. And it was wildly successful, and it's still highly regarded. This isn't one of those movies, okay? One of the $9 billion movies. I guess one of the other $9 billion movies that came out in 2019 that people look back on and go, yeah, that was kind of ass. I don't know why it made that much money. Okay, Lion King live action, Captain Marvel, Endgame, like, everybody pokes holes in all that stuff, but the one that ends up holding up to scrutiny is Joker. So yeah, Phillips and Phoenix, their insights were invaluable, and that's why, because they're both still very, very much attached to this project, there is hope for a sequel. And then when he starts talking about political operative in the room, gotta give him a little bit of leeway, because kind of knows what he's doing, bro. Okay, Joker Folie, Deux director Todd Phillips confirms Lady Gaga is playing Harley Quinn in name only. And guess what? That's good, because I've heard his justification behind this, and you're going to like it as well. I guarantee it. And compares Arthur Fleck to Donald Trump. And here's the thing, man, okay? Like, I like that Park Place. I use them for quite a few articles, but every once in a while, we got to set the record straight when it comes to the headlines. They sometimes get a little hyperbolic. They sometimes get a little misleading. I understand that there are certain terms and phrases that are very SEO friendly. We all got to play the clickbait game. You gotta have a little sizzle to your steak. But to say that Fleck is a Trump analogy, that's just not fair. And to say that Harley Quinn is just simply adopting the moniker in name only, That's just patently inaccurate. Todd Phillips, the director of Joker Folie, Deux, recently shared that Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn in the film is just Harley Quinn in name only. Well, like I said, that's not a fair analysis of what he said. Phillips told Variety, the high voice, the accent, the gum chewing, and all that sort of sassy stuff that's in the comics, we stripped that away. Well, to be fair, that's all really played up thanks to Margot Robbie's interpretation, okay? All of that super cringe crap, that got thoroughly accentuated in The Suicide Squad, and in Birds of Prey. It seems like the character that Lady Gaga is going to be playing is actually Harley Quinn from the animated series, because that's where she originally came from. She got, whatever the comic storyline is right now, whoever she's scissoring with, if she's trying to work together a three-way kiss with Catwoman and Poison Ivy, I think that's a thing, but the comics are so cringe at this point in time, it doesn't even matter. The fact that he's straying away from current continuity, that just means that it's going to play better on screen, because people are actually going to recognize the character for once. We wanted her to fit into this world of Gotham and that we created from the first movie. Yeah, there you go. All that cringe shit that made her insufferable in the comics, in current filmic representation, that doesn't end up fitting. Variety's Brent Lang also revealed that Gaga's Harley Quinn, or Harleen Lee Quinzel, is a patient in the psych ward where Joaquin Phoenix's Arthur Fleck is being held and facing the death penalty. One aspect that is similar to the comics is that she's obsessed with him, or rather his alter ego, Joker. Well, yeah. And here's the thing, because yeah, you can go ahead and say that Arthur Fleck, well, that's not paying homage, that's not sticking true to the comic canon. Here's the thing about Joker, he's kind of an unreliable narrator when it comes to portraying his own backstory. There's multiple interpretations of Joker. That's why you can use the character in different ways. You're still being respectful to the source material, not denigrating him. You're not denigrating him as less than for adopting this moniker. And that's why outside of the hardest of the hardcore, it's different in the comics, are very celebratory about this performance, as opposed to denigrating the work that Phillips and Phoenix have done before. As for what the film actually is, Gaga told the outlet, Todd took a very big swing on this whole concept, and with the script giving the sequel to Joker the audacity and complexity. There's music, there's dance, it's a drama, and there's courtroom drama. It's a comedy, it's happy, it's sad. It's a testament to Todd as a director, and that he would rather be creative than just tell a traditional story of love. Yeah, because these are not two traditional love story characters, and that's what makes it interesting. Lang also shared that the movie begins with a Looney Tunes-inspired cartoon starring the Joker, which sounds insane, but it's really going to be a good tone setter if it's pulled off appropriately. Before hurtling through prison riots, courtroom face-offs, and a variety show sequence that finds Phoenix and Gaga portraying a homicidal Sonny and Cher. So yeah, there sounds like there's a lot of stuff going on. It could be a total mess. But who thought that a gritty origin story for the Joker was going to end up making $1 billion? To that point, Fleck will abandon his medications he's been prescribed in the psych ward and prances into a fantasy world that often plays like an MGM musical of yesteryear on acid. Alright. As for the musicals that will feature, the variety of songs include Get Happy, For Once in My Life, and That's Life. Of note, it appears that Phillips will swap the dynamic between Joker and Harley Quinn that was showcased in Batman, the animated series, and the comics. Kind of, I guess, because in the animated series, Harley was just simply infatuated with the Joker. He didn't care that much for her one way or another. So if you're going to work on that dynamic, okay, just maybe make it a more quote-unquote loving relationship. That would be a way to subvert expectations without bringing in the whole modern-day girl boss dynamic that normally people who say want to tell a non-traditional story would do. Phoenix's Arthur Fleck will prefer more romantic ballads conveying his desire for a romantic relationship with Quinn, while Gaga's Quinzel will prefer songs about power. One caveat is that most of the songs take place in the characters' imaginations. Interestingly, Philip shared the various songs in the film are really just dialogue. Okay, that's a great way to work in that concept of it being a musical. Now, he explained it's just Arthur not having the words to say what he wants to say, so he sings them instead. Cool. As for some of the themes of the film will explore, Phillips shared that he wants to explore how everything has become entertainment. It's all been corrupted. Look at the recent presidential debate. There's a countdown clock and these gladiatorial graphics. Or take on the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. Everything is just treated as entertainment now, and there's something sad and troubling about that. I mean, fair enough as an observation. Those are two of the biggest events, and in regards to the presidential debates since 2016, and hell, even the Mitt Romney-Obama debates, those were still a huge event drummed up by the media, so yeah, he's not wrong on that. And we'll explore the theme of Fleck's trial and the courtroom antics. In fact, Phillips compared Fleck to President Donald Trump and see if you can spot how this connection would normally be made and how it's being employed here. Lang wrote, and Phillips, for his part, sees similarities between Joker's hold on his disaffected followers and the former president's popular appeal. Think what you want about Trump, but for a certain segment of society that's in love with him, he's a guy who's just saying what he wants to say and doing what he wants to do. Now, he is who he is, and people respond to that. That's what Phillips had to say about that. There's no, I know Trump's a bad man, okay, you have to go ahead and denounce him, and you have to denounce his cause. He's just simply relaying the facts that are in evidence. Appreciate that, okay? You can also, take the giga-brained take on this and say, oh, he's extrapolating that from the villain. See, the Joker's a bad guy. And it's like, yeah, I mean, thank you, Captain Obvious. But is there more of a polarizing figure in the world today that you can really use to drive home the point of your story in a more appropriate way than that? There's somebody who, regardless of the topic that they're talking about, is going to elicit a response from people. That's what he's getting across with the way that the Joker thinks that he is in his hallucinations. So come on, man. I see stuff like this, and I've seen headlines getting taken out of context, and I don't really know how well this movie's gonna perform at the box office. I just hope that it's really good. Hope that it's a continuation from the 2019 masterpiece, that at this point, or rather in a few months from now, there will actually be something good coming out of Hollywood, and it won't just be an entire year of duds and poorly written schlock that people just eat up. There's something that's actually telling a story and doing it well. That'd be nice. That'd be a great change every once in a while. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.